So I've already drawn out the owl on the canvas and given it a coat of acrylic medium with a little bit of raw umber. And I'm now, with a little bit of Payne's grey, just putting in some of these darker elements. Now, I can also use a little bit of raw umber in there as well to put some of those colours in. And the palette I'm using is a simplified palette of titanium white, Payne's grey, raw umber, burnt sienna and yellow ochre. And that's all. I'm not using bright colours, these are earth colours, and will have a very nice harmonious effect on the overall painting. Because if you just have a simplified palette, you'll find painting so much easier to harmonise the colours. I'm just going to put some whites in there as well now. Some of those lighter areas. I put some of the darker areas and now I'm putting some of the lighter areas in. So these are going to be the lightest parts, so a bit of pure white in there for now. But this is just the first stage. I'll be doing a lot to this painting, a lot of painting over it, a lot of layers, a lot of painting in layers. So just dampen the canvas slightly with a little bit of a spray, a water spray, mist spray. And then with my 1-inch brush, bristle brush, I can then start knocking in some of these basic shapes and basic patterns around the face and the body. Now add a little bit of white into that. Payne's grey will give me a lovely bluey grey colour. And I want it to go lighter towards the top here because I want the animal to really stand out against that background. I want the head to stand out against that background. So it's going to be a lot lighter than the bird itself. And this is only the first stage, the first layer. So this is all about painting in layers. It always is. Whenever I paint with acrylics, it's generally about painting in layers. Okay, I'll just get some burnt sienna now just to warm up some of those little areas, keeping the colours varied because those colours are going to appear in the bird here. Those burnt siennas and raw umbers and darks, they're all going to be in the bird. So I'll apply 1 or 2 of those colours also into the background. A little bit of a warmer tone here around the face, which I can lighten, still using this 1-inch thick brush, which is a great tool to use. A little spray of water now, and using the silicon tool, this is the Catalyst silicon tool, I can move the paint around and blur some of those edges because I like blurred edges of the subject here and there. I like the main area, the face, to be sharp and hard edged, but the rest can be blurred as it blurs and blends into the background. I can apply paint with this tool as well, and I've left links in the description below about my tools and materials that I use and equipment, and if you do purchase from those, then you will be helping to support me and my channel, which helps me to keep bringing you these videos. And I'd also like to just mention at the moment about my YouTube memberships. I've just started this really, and at the moment I have just one tier. This is basically a support tier, but for just the price of a cup of coffee, you'll be able to have a privileged view of my videos before they go public. You'll also be able to join me on my live painting sessions when I stream them, which is once a month at the moment. It's the second Monday in the month at 6 o'clock Greenwich Mean Time. So back to the painting. Still sort of blending now. Because I'm painting quickly, I can blend the paint because it's still wet. But if it isn't wet enough, use your sprayer. Use that mist spray just to keep the painting damp. And I sort of discovered this way of painting when I was at a game fair exhibiting and demonstrating, when I was in a large marquee tent. And it was a damp, wet day outside the tent. And I was painting with acrylics, and I found that they would not dry. it took maybe 3 to 4 hours and they still weren't dry. So I thought, hello, this is a good idea. Keep your surroundings in a damp atmosphere. If you've got a damp atmosphere, it's great, but to experiment with this, just go outside and on a damp day and paint with acrylics. You'll find that they take ages to dry. So what I do now is I use a water spray because I can't have my atmosphere damp in my studio. The next best thing is to keep the support damp, the canvas itself. So use that spray every now and again just to keep the whole thing damp, and your paints will stay wet for ages. There it is again. I just sprayed it again there because I'm now going to do the background once again, but this time a little bit brighter because it wasn't bright enough. I've got to have that head really standing out, those ears especially. It's a vital feature of this long-eared owl. So they really need to stand out there against that background. So putting some lighter greys in now to blend. And then a little bit of darker ones now as well around the outside edges. And I can go darker still and add a little bit of raw umber into that to give me a little greenish hue as well as it goes darker. Bit more raw umber into the dark, get it really quite dark there, and blend the bird into that. So it's emerging from the darkness there. And I can put in some of these colours back into the bird as well, some of those dark areas. Like that. So this is the second layer basically. Because remember, it's all about painting in layers. A little spray of water once again. And I can move that paint around once again with this silicone tool. Like that. And make these lovely random abstract marks. Which basically it's the viewer that makes up the idea of what those are, what those marks are. Are they foliage? Are they trees in the background? It could be anything. But the viewer makes that up in their own mind. So you don't need to paint those detailed, those backgrounds. If you want the bird to stand out, keep the background simple and blurred. So I'm painting with this tool now as well, picking up paint and moving that paint around. Now back to my smaller bristle brush rather. It's a cheap one that's worn. I do like worn brushes, especially bristle brushes. They create such wonderful and interesting brush marks. Now I'm just going to lighten up some little areas around the face and part of the body. I'll just have it a little bit lighter down here. I want to show the shape of the body on this side here a little bit more. And that's much better now. I can start putting these brighter colours back in with this brush. It produces wonderful brush marks like fur and feathers without any trouble at all, really. The brush does the work. And if you can find brushes like this, or if you have old brushes, use them because they can produce marks that you can't otherwise obtain. I'll show you that when I get into the detail of the face later on and the body in the next stage. I'll show you a detail trick or a hint and tip. So I'm putting just some of these colours here. This is my detail brush I like using. And it's an old worn nylon brush. And if you've watched some of my videos, you'll see that I do tend to use this a lot. It won't come to a point anymore. So I can't do very fine work with it. It'll come to a reasonable point, but not a very fine point. But it's best for the splayed bristle technique where I press the brush into the palette and splay the bristles. And like that. And creates these wonderful little marks that I can make, like fur and feathers, in one brushstroke instead of hundreds. And this is how the professionals would do it. Well, it's how they do it. I've been professional most of my life, and I know a lot of very famous artists, very famous professional artists, who use this same technique. So if you've got an old nylon brush, this sort of size, lying around, try it out. The paint will have to be relatively thin to work like this, and also the canvas will have to be a little bit damp for it to come off the brush easily. So I'm just adding some variations of those greys in there now, which I can go over the top of with darker ones and lighter ones. Because it's about layers again. I keep mentioning layers because it's extremely important when you're painting with acrylics, is painting in layers. Let a layer dry and paint over the top. And each layer is building up all the time on top of those previous layers and creating those wonderful levels of interest. So you can see I'm just adding a few little detailed areas by splaying those bristles there. Like I say, if the paint isn't coming off the brush too well, then give it a light mist spray, a damp spray. Just putting the eyes back in now because they weren't as dark as they were when I first put them in, and making sure the shape's correct, and the nose, the beak rather, because the dark paint in acrylics will become a little bit dull as it dries. And the same with the lights. The lights will become dull, so you have to go over them several times. Once it's dry, you go over the top again in order for it to go brighter. So a few little lights now on the lower eyelid, little dots of light around there, and also in the top of the eye, where the light's just catching the top of the eye, and the eyes start to come to life. And I'll just do a little bit of shading around this beak here. That's better. Use your finger to blend. Just wet your finger in your mouth and then just blend with it. It's a great way of blending with acrylics. That's another little tip. Some pure white now, just to put in little dots of light here and there, little dashes and dots on the top of the beak as well. But I haven't put that bright light in both eyes, only in the one, because that's the light, that's the side with most light on it. So always take that into consideration when you're putting highlights in eyes. Unless the light is coming from the front or from above, the light is going to be different from one eye to the next. So I'm using pure white now on the end of this brush, really thick, not thinned down at all, and then bend the bristles there. Now gone into a little bit of a warmer tone. Now I can get an even warmer tone here, and then bend the bristles like that. And just start applying them. You'll have so much fun learning to do this. And once you've learned how to do it, it's great. You can use it for loads of things. You can use it for grass on a little landscape, fur, feathers, edges of trees, leaves. It's such a useful technique to use. So don't throw your old brushes away. Use them. Okay, putting some of the darks back in now. Where they've sunken in a little bit, just put one or two little bits in here and there. And basically, I'm just sort of going around and fiddling with it until I'm really happy with every little area. Make that background a little bit lighter, a little bit of a spray there again, just to make that paint move around, and light behind the head to make them stand out a bit more. And using the lightness of touch now to blend, as well as changing colours slightly. So just lightly touching the canvas with the brush will produce a nice grading effect. Now with a rake brush, a dagger brush, this is a dagger brush, I'm just going to put in a few little bits of grasses and foliage in a very random, haphazard and impressionistic way. I'm not doing detail at all. I don't only want the detail in the face. So I'll just pop these in. The background is the abstract part. The body in the foreground is impressionist, and then the face is the realism style. So blending all those three styles together will produce this type of effect. So I'll just mess with one or two more little colours here and there and little touches of light. And then when I'm happy with that, once that's all done, that's the painting finished. If you have enjoyed this video and hopefully found it interesting and entertaining, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Be sure to click on the little bell icon if you wish to be notified of my latest videos. I am always interested in your questions and comments, and I do try to answer every one of them. Hopefully I will see you on my next painting video, so until then, have a lovely day and happy painting!